Hi everyone, my name is Victoria. For those who don't know, I am a digital and content marketer, and every Tuesday I post tips on how to grow and market your brand. Today, I'm going to talk about branding on Instagram, how to brand on Instagram properly, and as well as how to brand on Instagram like a pro. So, let's get started.
That's good.
So I'm going to talk about 6 easy ways and simply overlooked ways that a lot of people can master their branding on Instagram. And if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that the first thing I'm going to suggest is to have a goal. If you don't make a goal to where you want to go, then you're probably going to go where you don't want to go. So have a branding goal. And one of the best goals that you could have is, who do I want to attract to my Instagram page? Who do I want to stop in their tracks as they're scrolling through their phone so that they can come to my page and check out what I have to offer for them, whether it's a product or a service. So your biggest and most important branding goal is, who do I want to attract? And that is your ideal target audience. So when we're talking about who do you want to attract, you have to make sure that you're focused on a specific group of people. If you want to attract everyone, then you're going to attract no one. So make sure that you have a buyer persona. What does that buyer like to do? What attracts that buyer? What's going to catch that buyer's eye? Make sure that you have a specific demographic, because certain content and certain branding appeals to a certain audience. For example, very clean and minimalist is always associated with luxury brands, while colorful, pop, pastels are always associated with playful brands. So you have to decide the demographic, the buyer persona, because you are attracting someone, and you have to make sure that whatever you put out there is a beacon that calls to them. If you don't know who you're attracting with your branding, then you're going to attract the wrong customer. So before we go into any of the tips where you start adding stuff to your Instagram, we have to talk about your goal. Sit down, take a look at your Instagram if you have one right now, and ask yourself, the ideal person that you have in your head, would they be attracted to the type of content and branding that you have right now? If the answer is no or maybe, then it means that you're going to have to go back to the drawing board. If the answer is yes, but you're still not attracting your ideal customer, then it's most likely that your branding is not working and you still need to go back to the drawing board. So number 1, have a branding goal and decide specifically who you want to attract. Number 2, now that you know your branding goal, which entails the person that you're trying to do, because your branding is always something because when you're branding, it's branding by association. So the next thing is, you know who you want to target, you know who you're going for, and you know the type of content that they like. Now it's time to create that branded content. A popular misconception that most people have is that branding content needs slapping your logo on every single thing. No. And a lot of people also think that branding involves color, but color is just a small aspect of the psychology that branding has on people. Branding isn't always a color. Sometimes it's an experience. Sometimes it's an example of what you have to offer, and sometimes it's the product that you're actually selling. But it's how you portray it in your branding that actually attracts, stops, and allows the person to see you and associate your brand to whatever you want that person to associate your brand with. So when it comes to that, your content should be A, recognizable. B, it should also be identifiable. And 3, it should clearly demonstrate what you have to offer or what you're about. So identifiable, recognizable, and shows what exactly you're trying to offer. There should be no confusion with those 3 things. Otherwise, your branding is going to be off. For example, when you go on a makeup page like Maybelline, you see very clean, clear-cut, high-quality pictures of MUAs using their makeup for projects or photo shoots. So you know that their main target audience are MUAs. But when you go to Sephora, you see a few influencers, but you also see regular people who have a high following and they're just showing off their makeup on that page. Their branding is associated with people who want to have fun with makeup or people who are looking for good makeup products. So those two have almost a similar type of content, but how they portray that content defines their brand so that their consumers can easily see the difference between the two brands. Next, let's talk about number 3. Utilize your Instagram space. When it comes to branding, you have to use all of that social media retail up. You can't leave anything to chance. And that means 1, making sure that you brand your Instagram bio. When I do my free marketing consultations, the first thing people ask me, even though they shouldn't, is what does my Instagram page look like? Does it look good? And the first thing I look on, which is what your customers are actually looking on, is your bio. If I don't get your bio, if you explain your business to me and I read your bio and they're two separate things, there's a disconnect with your brand and with the idea that you have in your head and the idea that you're giving other people. So start with your Instagram bio. Your Instagram bio should be a short elevator pitch. It should get straight to the point. It should let customers know or your followers know what you're about from the get-go. It shouldn't be a mystery or a puzzle or a haiku. It should say what it means. If you view my Instagram bio, you can go ahead and check it out at vitalvines.co on Instagram. If you're on Instagram now, in my IGTV, go ahead, take a quick look on my profile. If you're on YouTube, you can click the link in the description for my profile and take a look. It's short, simple, sweet. You know I'm a content and digital marketer. You know the brands that I'm out to help, and you know that I also help female entrepreneurs and business owners simply by the content, the way that I phrase my bio, and the emojis that I use and the hashtags I use in my bio. So use up that social media real estate. The next part of your social media real estate is your Instagram highlights. Instagram highlights, it's now almost a sense of professionalism that you add highlights with icons. And not that they should be color coordinated, but they should be organized so that people can look through any type of content that you want them to notice, because it's a highlight feature. It's highlighting something important. If you have highlights just thrown all over the place without a cover, whether it's a simple black and white or something colorful, then you're going to give people the impression that you're not really putting much thought into how you present your profile to people. Then you have your Instagram posts, your captions, and the content that you use. Your content should be cohesive. So your posts and content should be cohesive with your brand. If your bio says one thing and your content says another, then you're going to confuse people. So it's important that you have cohesive content, cohesive bio, and next, a cohesive DP. Your DP is a part of your branding. Literally, it's actually one of the first things people look at when they're searching for a brand, when they're when they've discovered a brand, and when they want to know a brand. So you have to make sure that your DP picture is either your logo, it has your brand colors, it has something that's recognizable so they know this DP belongs to this profile and this person. They shouldn't be wondering, is this the business profile I'm looking for? No, instead it should be, oh yeah, this is their logo, this is their name, that's the person that owns this company, this is the team that runs this company instantly, or this is the product that I'm looking for, so this must be the company. Using up that social media real estate is an important aspect of your branding. If you haven't used any of those things, and I know there are a few of you that haven't, then it's time for you to change that. I also suggest that you can use Canva. Canva is an online graphic designing tool. It's super easy. If you are not a graphic designer, if you're a business owner that just needs something quick, simple, and easy, Canva is a tool for you. All right, and number 4. They say that birds of a feather flock together. It's pretty much true on social media. If you spend a lot of time with people who are into fashion content, or fashion posts or influencers, then automatically you're gonna attract those type of followers. And it also says that you are the type of person or brand that associates yourself with that. So you have to be careful with who you're associating with on Instagram and who are the type of followers that you are attracting to your page, because it says a lot, especially when somebody's researching you or trying to find out what your brand stands for. If you are a food brand, or let's be even more specific, if you're a vegan brand and you find that people who are into meat or barbecuing or hunting animals, they're following your page or they're liking your content and leaving comments, it could be that you might be giving the wrong impression. Because if you are a vegan page, then you should be attracting people who are interested in vegan and vegetarianism, and also probably animal cruelty products, right? So it's by association. When you brand properly, again, number one, I stated having a brand goal, and the number one brand goal is knowing who your target audience is, because your brand is going to be a beacon to them. So you have to make sure that even though you might be attracting the right followers, you also have to associate yourself with the right people in that space. So you have to follow pages or people who are associated with your industry, because people do pay attention to who you follow and why you follow them. It says a lot about who you are, what you stand for, and even if you may not have the same moral compass or values as that person, because you're following them, again, it puts you in that group of birds of a feather flock together. People can't reach out to you and have a full-blown conversation. Most people are actually going to jump to conclusions. So be careful with who you follow, who you don't follow, and who you're associating with, because that, again, affects your branding and says a lot about who you are and what you stand for. And we go to number 5. Number 5, be consistent. I'm sure you've heard this a lot, and I'm pretty sure you've thought about it as well, but have you actually been doing it? When you have an inconsistent, and not just content, when you have an inconsistent Instagram page with everything, your bio, your content, your posts, your captions, your hashtag, it makes you seem very mediocre. It also makes you seem very unprofessional, and it really looks like you don't know what you're doing, even if you think you do know what you're doing. So you have to make sure that everything is consistent, even the way that you interact with your customers and your followers, that's also associated with your brand. And if you have bad customer service, it means that your brand has other bad qualities that people don't want to be associated with. But when you have great customer service, then automatically people will associate your brand with something good, high quality, and reliable. So being consistent in all areas. And I know we're talking about branding on Instagram, but I also want to make note that you also want to keep that same energy, that same vibe, that same aesthetic, that same branding offline, because not everyone is going to find you on Instagram. Some people might find content about you on your website, on other social media pages. Again, offline in newspapers, articles, flyers, wherever it may be, you have to make sure that your branding is consistent across the board, because it looks like it's uniformed, professional, and you've put thought into it. So be consistent. And last but not least is number 6, where you evaluate and test. As you grow as a brand and as a business owner, your branding isn't always going to stay the same. Maybe the core values of what you stand for will stay the same, but how you brand and how you grow also changes. A big brand like Pepsi's changed its logo, still keeping the core name of Pepsi and what it stands for, which is fun, youth, and creativity, because they know that a brand can't be effective if they just stay in the same place. So always be ready to evaluate, take a look at what's working, what's not working. Sometimes you may want to attract X customer, but you realize that you're getting Y customers, and Y customers are buying from you. Y customers are the ones that are filling up your inbox, they're asking you questions, they're liking your content. maybe you may want X to be your customer, but Y loves your brand. So that means you have to pivot, change, reevaluate, and accommodate them. And that's a part of growing, and that's a part of branding. It's not just telling people who you are, but it's also growing with your community and making sure that your brand nurtures it and allows it to be its best self, because they're gonna be your best advocates and your brand ambassadors when you're offline and when you're not speaking for yourself. So those are the 6 ways that you can do Instagram branding or brand on Instagram like a pro. Now, I also have a free brand guide. I personally use this brand guide when I'm creating content for myself. I check my brand guide to make sure that the color, the aesthetic, the look and feel is consistent across the board. Because again, you want to come off as reliable, professional, and credible. So using that brand guide, and the brand guide that I have is for free. All you have to do is answer the questions, fill it out, keep it. And it also helps you because if you're working with a graphic designer, a marketer, or any other marketing campaign, or even a videographer, you can give them your brand guide so that they can follow suit. So instead of saying the same thing over and over again in the same email, send the brand guide. One and done, and you're good. So guys, that's it. If you have any comments or questions, if you're on YouTube, put them in the comments. If you're on IG, you can DM me and ask me those questions yourself. I am always active and I will always answer. And please like and share. If you see that this video has content that would help somebody you know, share the video with them. And subscribe if you want to see more videos. I love making these videos, and knowing that they're helping people helps me to continue to make videos. So like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week Tuesday.